Honestly, when I shot the footage I'm about to show you, I wasn't even sure if it was going to make it to be a real video on this channel, but I think it's relevant. I think you guys are going to appreciate it. And there may be some stuff going on in the near future where you do not hear as much from us for a little bit. Probably got to leave the state tomorrow and some other stuff. So I think you guys will enjoy it. Mama Pepper, she's a blessing for me to watch and enjoy, and I know some of you guys feel the same way. So here we go. Enjoy the show. All right, y'all. Honestly, don't know if this can make it to a real video. Mama Pepper now is what, on about almost a day of contractions, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of. So why don't you start with last night and just share a bit, and we'll share about why I'm even sitting at home right now.
So some contractions started to happen towards the evening time yesterday, and they were just closer together and consistent for a few hours, and I was starting to get a little bit nervous because Papa wasn't home.
So I travel periodically for work. When I'm gone, like I'm gone, a lot of times I make the joke, I don't know when I go to bed at night if I'm got to work in the morning, you know, because we could get a call and boom, we got to go. And that's taken me Mississippi, Louisiana, what else is out there? All sorts of places. Illinois, Kentucky, Iowa, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky I might have already mentioned, Iowa. I mean, just all over. So I was actually up in just outside of St. Louis working on a job. We worked long and hard all day, finally get back to the hotel room, washed up from work. I was punching some buttons to put out some videos. I think I put out the video on my Grub Terra commercial essentially, and started getting a text from Mama saying like, hey, I'm having contractions. They're kind of getting stronger. They're about every 15 minutes apart. And with my work, I'm like, first of all, I'm about 5 hours away from home. Second of all, we rented equipment that needed to be picked up the next morning by the company who we rented it from. So we had to be there on site, and it was at an unmanned building, so we couldn't just have somebody cover it for us. The other thing is we had just rented a hotel room for the night, and we left a bunch of our tools on the job site, which we never do. Super paranoid about theft and other things because it's a reality. But with it being an unmanned, secure location, we're like, we'll just come back and start in a couple hours again, after we sleep for a bit. Well, I'm like, pretty much my workmate, because he was the one with the truck and tools that I was with, to have him run me back home was not going to make sense. It just wasn't going to work. But thankfully I had some friends who lived about 20 miles away from where I was, and they've been a real blessing to our life for a lot of years. And 11:30 at night, I figured the dad often wakes up at 6, so not to usurp his authority over his family, but just to get a better established contact. I texted the mom at 11:30 at night, the mother of the family, and she kind of began to be in communication with us as I was in communication with her. I was pacing up and down flights of stairs. We were on floor 3, and it was like a 10-story hotel. So I was pacing up and down, and my calves actually still hurt from just being on the phone with you last night. And Mom was like, I don't know if this could be it. They're increasing. I'm like praying, like, if I'm not supposed to come home, just have them cease. Have them cease now. So we had her be hydrated and put your legs up, and I'm like, eventually, what'd you say? When we were trying to determine if I was supposed to come or not. Basically that you wanted me here, right? And you thought it could happen, yeah.
Yes. I wasn't sure if it was time, if my labor was starting, and sometimes it starts off slow. I've had that with like our third
monster truck
son, yep. And his contractions were very mild, and they got strong, and they were mild, and they were strong. And I didn't know what was going
one
on.
contraction broke your water on that one.
So this time around, it's just like you just never know what's going to happen.
And because of the consistency of them and the kind of increasing in intensity, she's like, I think this could be it. I want you here. I'm like, that's no problem. That's where I want to be. And I've been there for all the births of our children. And also, like, the official due date is October 18th. She, except for Pinky Pepper, our first one who came like 2 or 3 days early, every other one has been a week or two early. So she just passed 37 weeks now. We're approaching that era, that stage of life where she has the babies prior to the due date. And a lot of them, I mean, last time you said it was like 4 hours, right?
Yeah, the last one was 4 hours.
About 4 hours of labor, boom, baby. Natural, drug-free, vaginal birth, just booming out. But a lot of them are like 6 to 8 hours, or 4 to 6.
Yeah,
6,
it's going to be 4 to
6. Normally they're like 4 to 6 hours, so when she gets going, it's like going. And I'm like, okay, I'm about 5 hours out at least, because I still got my friends have to wake up out of bed, get packed. They pack some snacks and some coffee and stuff, and then drive over to me, and then we got to drive over to you. So they actually picked me up at 12:39 this morning. And at the hotel, I'm standing outside talking to a drunk guy in the smoking section. We were going through, I mentioned, he said, oh, you know what you're having? I said, yeah, girl. And I explained the shipping container fire and stuff and why we peeked to find out what we were having. I said, he goes, you got any names? Yeah. I said, well, maybe like Rebecca, maybe Ruth, for an actual name, not a YouTube name, a pepper name, And he's like, oh, those are like Bible names. He's like, yeah, it's drunk guy. And he's like, fist bump, Bible names, all right, and stuff. You got another one right now? Mm-hmm. She's having another contraction right now. But then one of my friend's sons and one of my friend's daughters drove me down like the 5-hour trip. We showed up sometime after 5 in the morning and hung out, gave him a tour and stuff. But I told Mom, I said, drink some water, kind of keep your legs up. I'm like, if you are going to be going to labor here, you're going to want your rest. And if we're trying just to kind of hold things back for me to get there, if you can just rest and lay down and things kind of slow down, that's going to be better anyway. And I'm like, pretty much drink some water, try to go to bed, try to relax, try to fall asleep. And when you wake up, I should be there. If you get woken up by like a hard contraction or, your water breaks or something like that, let me know, but establish contact with the midwives and let them know at that point. How's this one? Decent?
Mm-hmm. It doesn't hurt a lot. It's just a tightening.
A tightening. Yep. You want to stand up and show them your tightening belly real quick?
Sure. Try.
It's incredible, guys. Just it looks like she's got a giant egg on the front of her,
Can't see the tightening, but it is getting hard.
But she wears it well. So, then she had a chiropractor appointment today and some other things. She had her day planned out because she wasn't planning on having me here. So she dropped the children's off at a friend's house to watch them quick while she went to her appointments. I fell asleep from like 6 or so, slept for a while, and then woke up to have my day here. But today she's pretty much been having the contractions rather consistently, and for even the past almost month, right? The warm-up contractions and the Braxton Hicks and some of the things that your body does ahead of time to prepare. This is number 8 for us, so you've been through this, you kind of recognize some of the things and some of the changing. And even last night, what were you telling me about the contractions? That they were varied from the warm-up?
Oh, yeah. They seemed like they were a little bit more different than the ones from a few days before that.
Right.
There was just a little bit more pain.
Like more real go time type contractions. So.
They were really doing some work, so.
So this may be the last video we make as parents of 7 out of the womb children, Who knows what tonight will hold, who knows what tomorrow will hold, and what are we aiming for this birth, as far as what kind of birth and how we're going to do it.
I'm really hoping that I can do a water birth this time. Last time I did a water birth was with our 4th child, and that was a wonderful, just peaceful, wonderful birth. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being in the water, And so I'd like to do that again if we're able to, but we're going to see what our Heavenly Father has prepared for us in that area this time, because there's just a lot of different variables that can come into play.
Yeah, there is.
So,
And sometimes, the birth of a child being there, like I said, for all 7 of them so far, it gets intense at times, and there's a lot of variables. And sometimes I'm like, am I gaining a child right now, or am I losing a wife? But yours overall have gone really well. She's been able to have them all drug-free and natural, and that's our intention this time. Yeah, you do it well, When it comes time to what needs to be done, she's about it, And looking forward to hopefully being here for this birth. And Mama's like, well, we got some stuff coming up on the schedule, the Feast of Tabernacles and some other stuff. She goes, well, hopefully I'll just have the baby soon, recoup, get back to normal, and you can go, make some more money and take care of some things for some upcoming, stuff we have expenses for. And I'm like, wow, that's cool, because that's what we like making progress. I gotta be able to afford the concrete slab and some other things to progress in the root cellar once I do finish framing it in and stuff. And, yeah. You got anything else?
do you want to talk about the birth options with being here and going to the hotel depending on what happens? Or
Yeah, you can mention that.
so we don't exactly know what we're going to do for the birth yet, besides planning to do a water birth, but that all just depends on, I don't know,
Timing's one thing.
timing. Because my births are so fast, we may
Basically, there's a daytime or a nighttime variable for our birth plan, right? So
Right.
the daytime variable or plan for the daytime variable is what?
that would be for our friend to care for our children and take them to her place.
Yep, come
And
pick up
then-
our van and
Yeah.
our children during the day, all awake, and she can watch them at her place while we focus on.
Well, we set up the birth pool here at home and do the water birth at home, if we're able to get it filled up and ready in time.
Right. And the other option is Mama was thinking, well, if it's in the middle of the night and everyone's sleeping, then what?
Then we will probably end up going to a hotel, which sounds a little bit weird and strange, but people do it.
People have destination births all the time. They leave their home, go to a hospital, all sorts of stuff.
And it's not the most ideal or comfortable place that I would want to be. It is probably nicer, and I don't see my dirty dishes and my dirty floor I have to sweep.
A potentially more relaxed environment to focus on the birth.
On that part, it helps me to be more relaxed on that part, but the fact that we're in a hotel is going to make me feel a little bit nervous, but I'm sure it'll all be just fine if I have to go there. So anyway,
Yeah, and that way, the children that are sleeping can just stay sleeping. We don't need to wake them all up, put them all in the van, transport them all somewhere else where there may not be sleeping accommodations for them all. They can just wake up in their own beds here, and we'll just excuse ourselves to go with a different option.
while our friend comes to watch them here, and that'll help me to be able to relax, focus on the birth, be there with Papa, and just have some peace and quiet there.
And not that we let our children watch cartoons per se, but a live birth is not really a cartoon. It's not really children's entertainment. It's not really where mom's going to be in a birth pool trying to give birth, and we're going to have 7 little faces plus me and a couple midwives there. That's.
Although some people do
Some do that. Some do that. Yeah.
I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't feel comfortable doing that. I feel the most comfortable with my husband.
Right.
And
I've been a good birth coach. I tell her it's going to be over soon and she can do it, and then if she tells me to be quiet, then I stop. If she wants some back rubs or something, I'll do that, but then when she says enough, I stop. And even last night on the phone, I wasn't sure. By the time I got here, even if I got here as quick as I could, she could have already had a baby. And I'm like, look, planning for the other end of the spectrum, if things happen quickly and I'm en route and I'm not able to get here in time, I told Mama Pepper, Pinky Pepper could probably fill in for me. And she could probably be your birth coach, and she could probably be there. I mean, just the way she's helped deliver sheep and cows, and as familiar as that stuff as she is, and as she does well in high stress situations sometimes. And I'm like, where there's a lot of intensity, and she keeps her head on her and goes pretty good through it. So is this another one already? Or no?
No, I'm having like a side ache. I have to like stretch a little bit.
Okay. Because I'm like, this video's only been going 16 minutes if she's got 2 within that time. But what do you think, if it would have came to that, do you think you would have felt comfortable having Pinky help you? Or not so much? That's what I kind of thought.
Although she would be good at doing that, I don't feel appropriate to have my children there for that kind of thing myself. And
when you have like a baby coming out of your Netherlands and things are exposed.
Right. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I really just need my Papacito to be there with me.
That's kind of what I thought. But, as a man, men kind of are problem solvers, and try to come up with solutions. So I was thinking, well, if that's what's up, maybe this is a way to go here.
I'd probably just have a different friend be there with me instead.
Really? You got backup?
No.
Or hypothetically?
I don't, but if I had to.
Well, and even some of the...
I want to be crying there by myself.
The midwives that we're working with this time are pretty much a 3-person team. And we've known a mother and daughter who helped the midwife for a number of years now. And definitely a level of comfort and appreciation and stuff for them. So, yeah.
So we're still going through names, praying about names as well. Thank you for the options that you're sending out to us.
This is recorded a couple hours after I put out the picture of her with the little kids around her.
And that was actually something that I really wanted to do, is take some pregnancy pictures. So Papa decided, well, let's get out there right now quick before something happens.
And the sun was going to set in a bit too, so our last opportunity for outside daytime photo was, and that looks better than just here in front of the couch or something. Smokehouse is a nice background.
So thanks, Papa, for getting those pictures for me.
And I wanted pictures too, just because I was contemplating having a video coming up where you have a thumbnail of a lady with a big belly, and it says, after 6 years of pregnancy, this happened. Because a lot of people think 9 months for a pregnancy, but 9 months and 9 months is a year and a half. A year and a half and a year and a half is 3 years. So by the time you got 4 kids, you've been pregnant for 3 years. And this is number 8, so 3 plus 3, that's 6 years of pregnancy. So it may be a good kind of like, what? How is she pregnant for 6 years? And then people will click on the video. I don't know. It's not all clickbait, but sometimes you try to attract an audience and things, because that works out sometimes. And I'll tell you what too, even it was nice having friends, like 20 minutes away. They live in Ferguson, I was in Chesterfield, to get that ride home in the middle of the night, getting picked up at almost 1 in the morning. But when I was working, doing some hurricane cleanup stuff down in Louisiana, I wound up in a city, and all the power companies and the power trucks pretty much had all the hotels rented forever. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, where are we? My workmate told me where we were. I'm like, let me check something quick. And I went to Reap What You Sow, a YouTube channel, and I'm like, okay. So I shot them an email, and they actually, with my number and stuff, they actually texted me or called me in a very short amount of time. And I'm like, look, here's where we are. We're trying to get a hotel or somewhere to stay in the area. Like, do you guys know any local spots or other things, something that we might be missing here? They're like, wait, where are you? So I told them exactly where we were, and they're like, you're like 15 minutes from our house. Why don't you come spend the night in they have an extra mobile home that they were turning into a pottery studio. And I'm like, you sure? And they're like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. So that was really cool. It's nice to know a lot of people in a lot of areas. Because even, one of our guys up here called us when we were down there, like, so did you find a hotel? You know, like thinking there's no way we could. And my workmate's like, no, actually, we're staying at some people's house. They're just letting us sleep on their floor. And he's like, wait, what? Really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, some of my friends, you know. He was like, some of Papa Pepper's friends live down here, and they let us. And I was like, wow, really? So it helps out. It works well sometimes. But that's about it, guys. We just wanted to pause for a moment and put this out to bless you guys. Like, appreciate the love and support and care that you guys have for our family. And feel free, if there's any good girl names that you guys know of, leave them in the comment section here too. So
There was also questions about videoing the birth.
yeah.
So we're not sure.
Mama Pepper, I got a strap for my GoPro, and you can wear it as a headband. So if I had it on her leg, we could put the strap around here with the GoPro facing you. And we wouldn't do that.
So we'll see what we'll do, and maybe we'll just keep the video to ourselves. Maybe there's some little sneak peeks we could do. I don't know.
There's a possibility if we're in a birthing pool, or if she's in the birthing pool having the baby, and I have a camera in the room somewhere, that anything we normally would keep off the internet would be happening inside the birthing pool, and you wouldn't be able to see. But you could see kind of some of the process, and then a baby's head will pop out eventually and, you know, be there. So it's possible we may try to do some stuff. We're not going to, you know, live stream the birth or do anything too graphic or immodest.
Mm-hmm. We're going to keep it modest and appropriate.
That's the
Family
example
friendly.
we like to set. Even like, I like G stuff as opposed to PG, like even for ourselves. We like more wholesome, not rated R or PG-13 or PG, because that means parental guidance.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I got another contraction starting right now.
Another
Hardness. You wanna feel it? That's hard, Pa.
That is hard.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like harder than a basketball.
And I was kind of feeling like a little bit of like
That's really hard.
pain in my back. I wonder if I might have like back labor this time, because
Oh,
that burns.
Wow, that's the hardest I've felt it.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's tightening all that muscle. Works out ahead of time to get ready to help you push
So-
that baby out.
It's like in the evening times, yesterday evening, those contractions kicked in, you know, consistently closer together. And now this evening again, they're starting up again, you know, consistently more closer together than they were throughout the day. Throughout the day, it was like one, maybe every few hours.
And
here or
this is
there.
all,
So,
like, even with contractions and stuff, there's quite a bit of warm-up stuff before, like, you really go into what I would call active labor. Because in the active labor, she just wants to pace back and forth sometimes, and she's just like a huffing and a puffing, like a little steam engine running around.
yeah.
What's the difference between what you're feeling now when you start doing that?
They come on really strong with more pain.
Okay, so kind of hard and
Yeah.
heavy, and
The pain is there stronger. Like right now, it's just very mild,
you
and
can
it
feel
just
it.
it just tightens and yeah.
So like flexing a muscle almost.
But when those ones come, the pain comes on strong.
Okay.
It's like a wave of pain, but
And that's one of the things too, that like even Lamaze classes or birthing classes, they teach you breathe through it. So breathing is a way to kind of work through it, or some people
yeah, to relax your body and
you also like crunching ice sometime if you're able to. The changing temperature.
which reminds me, we'll have to get a bag of ice here soon just to make sure we have it in the freezer because we don't have any ice.
Okay.
Unless we freeze them in those little trays, but
The store's not open, but if I hit it right, it'll probably open if we really need some.
so anyway.
I owe you.
boy. Oh.
All
We're
right,
excited and waiting, and we'll see when that special day is here soon.
We'll keep you posted. It's still tight. All right. Thank you guys so much. And keep us in your prayers. Be blessed. Papa out.
Mom out.
Baby.
See you guys next time.
Baby not out.
Baby not out.
Baby
yet.
in.
Baby still cooking.
Thank you for watching. Hit the left button. Thumbs up. But well.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's because you know.